Hello, my squishies! It is Friday night. It is just after 6 o'clock. It's felting time. Welcome. Hello. Can somebody in the comments please let me know that they can hear me? It looks all good at my end, but I always like to double check. So while I'm waiting for someone saying that they can hear me, I'm going to do a brief introduction as to what's about to go on. And yeah, then we're going to get to felting. So we do these live. So there's live comments that you can sometimes... Sounds fine. Excellent. Sound is fine. Excellent. Yeah. So there's live comments. You can replay them down there so you can see who I'm talking to. I'm not just rambling complete nonsense to myself, but we leave these up so that you can do them after the fact. So if you're watching this after the live, you're more than welcome to pause, to rewind, to fast forward. You don't have to do it all in one go. And I will warn you now, I do ramble an awful lot of nonsense. So you are more than welcome to mute me if you do not want to listen to my rambling nonsense. You can just watch and join along. I know where I used to joke, or I still kind of joke, that my wonderful parents have found the mute button on my stream, so don't have to listen to me anymore because they're tech support. And now they're looking for the mute button in real life. But yes. So if you've got the kit, I'm going to briefly go through what is in the kit and how to needle felt, and then we're going to get going. Also, hello everybody in the comments. How are you all? So in your kit, you will have a foam mat. This is what we are going to felt onto. This protects our surfaces. Well, felt. This is what we're going to put. Oh, it's Friday. The rambling has already started. Nonsense. This is going to protect our surfaces and make felting easier. We've got a bit of pre-felt. So this is wool fabric that's come off the sheep, been washed, dyed. Nope, just been washed actually. This is undyed. And felted lightly into this sheet. It is still quite malleable and it's really good for felting onto. You can felt onto other things as well. You can felt onto certain other materials as well. You don't have to felt on pre-felt. I've drawn on this. My brain is somewhere else tonight. I've drawn the outline for you to make it a little bit easier. In your kit, you've also got your needles. So this is the felting needle. It is sharp and barbed at one end, and there's a hook at the other end. You can use this just as it is. I've included a few in the kit because these do break. If one does break, find all of the bits and dispose of them safely. I tend to keep them in a hard plastic container, and then once that container is full, I will put it in the bin so nobody can get hurt. Like a sharps container, if you know what that is. But these do break, so to avoid breakage, always stab straight and don't bend as you're stabbing. But I've given you a few extra in the kit just in cases. You can use one on its own, or you can hold multiple together. So in your kit, I've given you a handle to make it easier to hold one on its own. I will show you how that works. So the handle has a little plug in the end. You pull that out and you'll see a wee groove there. Put the needle in the groove with the hook over the smaller end and then pop the smaller end back in there. And that just makes it a little bit easier to stab on. I will show you one more time. So you pull out this wee plug, you pop the needle in the groove and pop it back in. And then you're good to go. I do have a tool that holds 3 and I use this quite a lot. It just makes it faster for the lives. You can hold 3 at the same time without a tool. Let's just grab 3. You can just literally put them in your hand like that and stab away. And I used to do that on all my lives. I got the tool now. I will soon, hopefully, be selling these tools. But this is one I've slightly modified because it's got lots of holes in it. So I could put loads of needles in here, but I like to use just 3. Okay, and then the last and most important bit of your kit is the fibre. So this is what we're going to make the picture. We're going to make the picture on this with this. So I'm using the word this a lot. So this is roving or tops. It is technically roving, but people do interchangeably use those words. It's come off the sheep, it's been washed, dyed and brushed and formed into a rope. To work with this, what you do is you have your hands nice and far apart and just gently pull, and you'll see single lengths come out. So this is the staple length, or the length of the fibre that has come off the sheep. So if I was to have my hands too close together, I would be pulling against the same bit of hair. So you want to have your hands nice and far apart, and you also want to make sure there is no twist in it as well. If there's any twist, it's also not going to pull apart, because twist is what makes yarn. So nice and untwisted, hands nice and far apart, and you can gently pull. And we will, I will say this a lot tonight, I apologise in advance. Less is more. So we are going to start using, for certain bits, tiny, tiny bits, and it will just make all the difference. So all of the coloured ones here are Shetland, so they're from Shetland sheep. And then this white one is slightly different. This is slivers, so it's just a slightly different preparation. It's slightly, you don't know if you can see it, but it's slightly rougher, it's not as well brushed. And this is Cheviot slivers, which is another kind of sheep. Okay, so shall we get felting? Oh, there's comments. Oh, I better read the comments. Hold. Oh, there's one more thing, and I always forget to do this. In your kits, you have the frame as well, and I will show you later on how to put it in the frame. The only thing I don't include in the kits is a pair of scissors. So if you have a pair of scissors, you don't need to grab them now, but grab them at some point because you'll need them at the end. Oh, excellent, Sylvia. I'm so glad you're feeling better. And Sylvia also has her own YouTube channel, if you want to pop that in the comments as well, so everybody can go and follow Sylvia. It is You, Me and FPP. And she does quilting, felting, all sorts of stuff. But to business. Let's get started. So, the lovely thing about felting is that we can block it out, and we can even change stuff at the beginning. So there's no fear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this blue. This is Dream. I'm going to remember this week to say the colour names. So I'm going to take some of the Dream, and I'm just going to lay it on the sky. You guys also, I haven't shown you what we're doing tonight yet. Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll just do it as we go along this time. So I'm going to lay that blue fairly thinly, but we do want to cover the sky. Up the sky there, and we're going to do the same for the... Well, this is going to give it away. I'm going to do the same for the loch at the bottom. Oh, if you've read the title of this stream, you know what I'm felting. I'm felting Seagull Island. What is Seagull Island, you ask? Well, it's an island. So I've never seen any seagulls on, so I have no idea why it's called Seagull Island. It's an island, so the shop, this is, I run a wool shop in Fort William. The shop's in Fort William, in the Highlands of Scotland. And just about half an hour, 45 minutes south of here is a place called Kinlochleven, which is a lovely wee village. And about 2 miles, I want to say 2 miles outside of Kinlochleven is an island called Seagull Island. And we are doing a view of Seagull Island, and in the back of it we've got the Pap of Glencoe and some other mountains there. Don't know why it's called Seagull Island. But there is other stories I'm going to tell you later about it. So I've popped in the blue, and now, oh dear, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to take some of this, which is olive, and I'm going to lay that where our island's going to be. So we're going to do a base of olive, and then we're going to layer up colours on top. So I'm just it's not even colour by number, it's kind of just like placing by number. There we go. And now the Papa Glencoe is quite pointy, so we are going to aim for a little bit of a pointy. And then we've got our island is going to be down there, but we can pop that on top of the blue. So the island's there. There we go. We have a picture. Well done. I'm proud of you. But we've put the colours, the main colours, where they're going to go. And now we're going to do a little bit of stabbing before we start putting in any of the detail. So I'm going to grab 3 together and just real quick. Oh, I should say at this point, especially at this point, if I wanted to move anything, you can just take it off and move it. But even once we've stabbed it for a little bit, you've got a little bit of leeway to move it until it has been thoroughly felted in. And now this doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be tidy, because we're going to refine. Oh, I want that to be a little bit higher. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen people doing oil paintings or something like that. You block in all the colours and then you add on top of it. And that, the joy of felting is that when you've got all these different colours of wools, you can just layer up super nice thin layers and get really interesting effects with very little work. And what I'm going to do now, at the beginning, before I forget, and if in the comments please remind me, every so often you need to pull this off of the mat, otherwise it's going to get stuck on the mat. You'll be able to see at the back that all the little fibres have started to stab through. This is, you can see, really lightly felted, so ignore the picture on the back, that was a different picture. Really lightly started to stab through. Once it's been thoroughly felted, I will show you the back of, you can see it gets felted, you got a lot more, I swear I speak English, there's a lot more through the back. But once you've pulled it off, you might notice it's misshapen a little bit, especially at this early stage. That's perfectly normal. Just reshape it back into where you want it to be and give it a wee swoosh. Once it's more thoroughly felted, is that good English? Probably not. It will firm up and you won't have as much leeway. I apologise if you can hear the dog barking on the street. We are on the high street and it is Friday night at 6 o'clock, so it does get a wee bit busy outside. And I wonder how, oh yeah, so I may have mentioned that I have a wee shop in Fort William, but my wonderful mother, who's in the comments just now, is outside the shop painting the outside for me. Hi Mum, you're wonderful, but I believe I'm in her ears. She's listening, she has been chatting in the comments. So she's outside giving it a nice fresh coat of paint. So now we're going to start building up some details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one, which is evergreen. This is the darkest. So we've got essentially 4 greens in the kit. The darkest one I'm going to grab first. No, lies. I'm going to start with the lightest first. So we're going to grab this light beigey colour. It's called Camo, or if you're the wonderful Liz who used to work for me, it's called Sludge Green. And I'm going to pop the sludge green at the top of the hill. So this time I'm going to just smoosh it so it's a bit wrinkled and fluffy. And then just kind of tack it in. We will go over it a few times, so don't panic. Tack it in there, and I'm also going to put a little bit. So we've got one hill that goes down there, and then we've got other hills in the background. So I'm going to add this to the back of the background hills as well. If you have the kit in front of you, you will understand what I'm talking about, because there is a picture on the front of the kit. But if you're just watching this live for the first time, ooh, exciting, you have no idea what I'm doing. So I've added a bit there. And then I'm going to, in fact, do I want a little bit more? Yeah, a little bit more. Because even though it is wonderful and warm and sunny here at the moment, it's still, the higher up the mountain, the less vegetation there is, so the lighter it is. And like at the very top it is quite rocky. And then we've already put the green down, so I don't have to do a middle. Now I'm going to take some of the second darkest green. This is hedgerow. And again, so this time I'm going to put it lower down, sort of in below the camo. And you can see how little I've used and how little it's, like that is, can you see it? Probably not, but that's how little I'm using. But we will be building up the layers. Then I'm going to take the darkest, the evergreen, and smooshing it. And then this is going to go along the water line. So where the Pat meets Loch Leven. So surprisingly, the loch in front of Kinloch Leven is called Loch Leven, which is a beautiful loch. I used to live down near there. But where I grew up many, many years ago was also Loch Leven, but it was a different Loch Leven because there's two Loch Levens in Scotland. And it is amazing how many people get them mixed up. So I've done that line up to about there because that's where the hill is going down. But then I'm going to do a little blob at the side where there is another little bit of island there. And now I'm going to just double check. Yep, that all fits nicely in the frame. Oh, good point. Yes, good point, well made. You do not have to put it in the frame if you do not want to. I've given you, there should be enough in your kits to cover the whole thing if you want to do it as a full picture and put it behind glass or in a frame or hang it up some way. So I just like it because it gives you a finished thing in the frame and it's nice and easy to hang. But you are in control of your picture. So you do not have to use a frame. If you don't want to, you can fill it all in. Okay. And then we're going to start on the island as well. So we're going to do the same but opposite on the island. Are we doing the same but opposite? We're doing something on the island. So the island has this, so it's called, I know there's two Loch Levens, and although everybody can't pronounce either of them, so it's fine. The island has a little bush, the little stand, a stand of trees at one side of it. So we're going to do little sort of darkness next to where the water line is. So I'm going to take the evergreen and smoosh that along the water line. And I'm going to aim that the island is quite thin on the edges, going up to slightly higher bit in the middle. Now I have swum around this island because it is not far from the shore. The shore is like here, and when the tide is low it's super fun to swim around it. And there is rumours, which I don't know if I believe. I was trying to look up sources for it today because I was trying to be informed and have like interesting things to tell you about this island. But the rumour that I specifically wanted to tell you, all the sources lead back to one social media post somebody made many years ago, and I'm like, not really a source. So the rumour is that this is where the clans would meet. So if they had to, if the chieftains of the clans had to talk to each other, they would meet on the island because it was neutral ground. But I'm not sure if that's true or not. So I'm passing that knowledge on to you, but do your own research. Now I'm taking a bit of the middle green. I'm going to scrumple it up, and I'm going to put my little bush, little stand of trees there. Now we will tidy this up later, do not worry. This is the fun stage. This is the mess stage where you're like, this is not going to be a proper picture. This looks terrible. Don't worry. Don't panic. It will look like a mess. It's fine. Right, so we've got the basic colourways in. I'm now going to put, let's pop the clouds in, and then we're going to do a stab all over for 5 or 10 minutes before we put a few more layers of things on. So to make the clouds, this Slivers is wonderful for clouds. It just looks like clouds. So now Kinlochleven and Fort William, we're known for being quite cloudy and wet. So you can put as many clouds as you like. But I like just a little smattering. Now sometimes there's other colours get mixed in, so you just pull them out. I like just a little smattering of clouds, like really thin. Some of these might disappear when you put the frame on. That's totally fine. And now the bit that will turn the water from just white blob into actual water is going to take a little line of the Slivers, and where the water line is, I'm going to do a super thin line of white. And now you can see there's colours bleeding and stuff. Well, colours are moving. That's totally fine. We will tidy all these up later on. And in fact, a lot of them will disappear when we do other things in a minute. Again, so I'm just making sure this goes all the way along. And the same for the island. We're going to do a little line where the water is hitting, I love that word, lapping at the edge of the island. So it's not too stormy, but we're good. And now I'm going to take, again, the Slivers, and I want to really, am I still in frame? I always have to check that my camera's not just wandering off. Where was I? Yeah. So I'm taking this and really thinning it out and pulling it out, just to give some texture to the water. And when I say less is more, I'm really, really meaning like how little, I don't know if you can even see how little there is there. And if you've put too much on, and I do this as well, if you put too much of the white on, you can add a thin layer again. This is how thin we're talking. Over the top. Ooh, so random news, because when they're at this stage of the stream where if you know me, you're here and you're loving it. So I'm a judge at the agricultural show tomorrow up at Arisaig. So I'm feeling a lot of pressure tonight because one of the categories I'm judging is needle felting and wet felting. And I'm like, if I don't perform well tonight, will the contestants, for the people that have entered the handicraft show, be like, oh, she can't judge, she can't even do it herself? Yeah, probably they will. It's fine. It's fine. They will all be wonderful and amazing. Okay, so again, I've got kind of all the colours blocked in. I'm going to stab all over it for about 5 minutes now, because is a full sentence. No, the act of stabbing it in will change the way it looks, and it'll sort of pull stuff together, it'll tidy everything up, and then we can see what bits that we need to work on. So when I'm doing this for the shop, because I sell my finished pictures in the, well, I sell the kits in the shop, and I also sell my finished pictures now in the shop. I have a wonderful machine that is kind of like a sewing machine, but for needle felting. And it's got 12 needles in it. You just run this through. Oh, so fast. It is so much fun. And it just makes it... I mean, I love the this is joy. This is relaxation for me. I love the hand stabbing everything. But if I'm doing it for the shop, I kind of need to speed up the process. Because you do kind of want... Apparently you want to make a profit? Is that a thing that shops are supposed to do? I don't know. But yes, I'm going to stab all over. And this is a bit... So I do classes in the shop where we get groups of people who've never felted before and sit them down and get them needle felting. And the stage when they all start stabbing like this all over, the relaxation in the room is spectacular. You can just, it goes silent because they start stabbing, and then it's like, oh, and they go silent. And then they just start giggling, and it is wonderful. Ooh. That is a weird noise, and I apologise. Look, when I pulled that off, that's completely wonky. It's gone. But all I need to do, especially because we're still at the light stage, is recenter it and just pop it down. Now I'm going to check how it's looking. Yep, I'm really happy. Am I happy with that? No, I'm not. I want that hill to be slightly more... I think my hill has gone sideways a little bit. I want that hill to be a little bit more there. So, the wonderful thing about felting is that at this stage I can literally, I'm just pulling the colours that I've put down lightly off and shifting them slightly because I want to see the top of that hill more in the frame. That's better. And it is a steeper angle, so I've just wiggled. The pap is a very pointy hill, and if you stay till the end, I will tell you why it's called the pap. Oh, Ruth, I would be very excited to see your one. Ruth does amazing felted pictures. I would love to see her take on this one, because like I said this before, I'm just showing you one way to do it, but I want you to come... I don't want you to do exactly what I'm doing. I want to see what you come up with as well. Okay, so I'm liking how the texture in the bottom is, but I'm wanting some there as well. So I'm going to do the same again for the back. Because we've got so few colours here, it's really fun to have a go with lots of little bits of texture. And again, we can layer, so you can add it a little bit heavier than you think you want it to be. Although I do quite like that. But if you've put too much, I think there's a little bit too much there, you can either take it off or add a bit of blue on top. And because you're not... It's not... I want to use the word opaque, because it's not opaque and you'll be able to see a little bit of what's below. It just gives a really nice depth that... That's a squeaky noise. That that sentence is gone. Brain went somewhere else at that point. Squeaky noise, brain gone. And I'm going to be doing a bit more texture in the hills as well. Let's make the hills pop. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab my darkest, so the hedgerow, nope, lies, the evergreen. And I'm going to just work along my my bottom line, where the pap meets the loch, and make sure that is nice and solidly filled in. How are we for time, by the way? Oh, plenty. We're only halfway. Plenty of time. We're flying tonight. Make sure that's all nice. So this is the fun bit. Now that we've got the colour in and we can see it coming together, we're happy with the layout. This is where we get to play and just change a few little things. So I'm taking, this time I'm going to take a little bit of the hedgerow and a little bit of the evergreen. So I've got the two colours there, and I'm going to smoosh them together. It's definitely not the technical term. To make a little bit of like a blend between the two. So I want this to look slightly lush and dark green, and I want to make sure, so this is a very important part that I'm going to do just now. If you pay attention to nothing, pay attention to this. So I want to make this hill look like it is in the background and further away. So I've used the darker colours and made sure that the darker colours go up past the top of where that hill is. End of story. That's it, I give up. And I'm going to do the same for this little bit here. I've also, I don't know, I haven't mentioned this, but I have. So the line of that water is there, but I've made the line of that further away hill. In fact, let's make it even further back. So it definitely looks like it is in, like it's a further away part of the loch. The loch disappears. And that point comes down there. Perfect. That's better. So you can use, now don't bend your needle, but you can use the direction that you stab the needle to great effect if you want to move things about. And now I'm going to put a little bit more of the olive mixed with the hedgerow, the medium green with the so not the sludge, the medium green with the one above it. Silence. Enjoy the silence. It's not going to last long. I'm going to ramble again in a second. Oh, so for those of you that always need the Peanut update, Peanut is the shop dog. Well, she's my dog, but you know, it's my shop, so she's the shop dog. Normally she goes on a walk with Mum and Dad. They come up and babysit her for the felt along. Because she is wonderful, but occasionally she needs a lot of attention from me, and that is normally when I'm chatting on the felt alongs. But because Mum is outside, where is a Peanut? Peanut's gone away with my dad. Oh, there's them two together. I don't even know where they're going. Okay, so I'm going to work on, I want this to be slightly further down. So I'm just going to take some of the dark green and pop it on top of the blue. Don't care. There we go. It's better. Seen a little bit I've missed there. And I want this. Because the further away something is as well, the lighter it looks. Because especially up here, there's always a lot of moisture in the air, which makes stuff look a little bit desaturated and in the distance. And these mountains are just kind of, you can give them a little wiggly line if you like. But I think the pap is the main mountain shape. Again, I need to put a little bit more blue in there. How are we doing for time? Okay, excellent. We will work. I've got to do a little bit more on this island, and then I will show you how to pop it in the frame. So what I haven't said yet is I don't expect you to get this finished tonight. This will not be finished tonight. I give these streams an hour because I think after an hour of me chatting nonsense, nobody needs to hear anymore. And I need to go and have my dinner. Oh, good point. What's everyone having for dinner? Pop, what are you having for dinner in the comments, please? Yeah. And because after the hour, your eyes are starting to get tired as well. And you might be like, oh, it looks terrible. How on earth is this going to look good? This is horrendous. What have I done? That's perfectly normal. Your eyes are tired. You've been staring at it for a while. I promise you it looks better than you think it does. You will come back, if you leave it for the night and if you come back in the morning and look at it, you'll be like, oh my god, yeah, I made a thing and it's amazing. So do not panic just now. And don't try and do too much tonight. What I'm going to get you to do is to finish tonight once I'm finished this stream, and give it a day, give it 2 days, and come back and finish it off in a couple of days. Come back, just stab it all over for about 5-10 minutes, making sure everything is thoroughly stabbed in, and then put it in the frame. But we're not aiming to get it finished in one sitting. Give your brain a break. We've done a lot of learning and thinking. And ooh, chicken and salad. Oh, yes, please. I'm going to do the same as what I did that hill, but in miniature at the bottom of the island. Because, oh, another, I always say this and I forgot to say it. The other thing I like to do when I'm felting is, yeah, like I said, your brain gets tired. So another good thing to do is to is to look at it from a different angle. One way you can do that is to take a photograph of it, and that sort of gives you fresh eyes. What I like to do generally is take a photograph of it and send it to my parents, because I get the photograph and I can be like, oh, actually, yeah, I need to change that thing. And also they give very good feedback, which helps. So they normally, although they didn't today, because they would, well, Dad was downstairs manning the shop. He's the Saturday girl, he's amazing. Dad was downstairs manning the shop. Don't tell me it's Friday, we ignore this fact. And Mum was outside prepping for painting, so they didn't get to see it until now. Dun, dun, dun. But I did. I think I can design it. I think I did okay without them. So we've got nice splotchy different bits of green on the island, which is perfect. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just going to make sure that the bottom of the stand of trees is a little bit darker. Excellent. Right. Okay. I'm happy with this. Well, I'm happy with so far. So let's stab all over for 5 minutes, and we're going to have a look at it in the frame, change anything that we want to change. And we've got that'll take us 15 minutes. Sweet. I think that's winning. Ooh, what I do like to do sometimes is, have I gone off screen? Nope, we're fine. I like to make sure that the edge of the hill is defined in the white slivers, but like a really thin coating, that's a very wrong word, layer, to give the sort of idea of the mistiness as well. Questioning now, if I entered one of my pieces in the handicraft show tomorrow, would I actually let my... I'm not going to, but would I win? No, probably not. There are some amazing felters up here. Or am I supposed to be more confident? Like, of course I'd win, I'm wonderful. You can't see it, but that immediately made me cringe. Yeah, I have no idea why this is actually called Seagull Island, and I couldn't find any information on the interwebs. Some say it's also not just called Seagull Island, but called Elan na Ben? Bam? Which is Gaelic, that I just completely butchered. I am so sorry, any Gaelic speakers. Island of the Woman? But there is another one of them next to Iona, so I'm not sure if people were just getting confused or what. So I know it's Seagull Island. This is going to be Seagull Island, but it could be Island of the Woman. Oh, but while I remember that, would you like to know why the Pap is called the Pap? So Pap of Glencoe, there's lots of Paps around Scotland, so they've always got like the Pap of whatever it is. And Pap means young lady bosom or breasticles, because it is very pointy and, you know, standing proud. And there's lots of other mountains or hills called Calich, and they tend to be rounder and smoother. And Calich means older lady area. And that just makes me very happy that whoever was naming all the mountains was like, that's a young lady, that's an old lady. And I just giggled quietly to myself. There's also many things that are named after people that name mountains and rocks and things. They weren't very inventive. There's lots of stores, old men around, which, as it says, they tend to be... I'm just going to stop talking now. Let's... If you watched my Old Man of Store video, you'll know. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. There's a lot to be refined, I think, but we've got time for that. I want to clear up this line a little bit with the darker one. Make sure it's obviously... There we go. But let's stop fiddling and see it in the frame. Ooh, what does essence of nature mean? That is a very good question. Luckily, all the categories I'm judging are nice, simple categories. Like blanket. The best blanket. It'll be fine. Okay, so let's get the framing in. So to work these frames, what you do is... So I'm just going to hold that and unscrew it until the peg, the bolt even is almost out, but not all the way out, so it still holds it together. And then you can pull the outside from the inside. Now, we're going to move the mat out the way. Oh, put it in the corner. And pop this down on a hard surface. I'm trying not to make a big noise for you guys. And then put your felt on top, and you can feel where the frame is and have a go at different positions. So if you've done the whole thing, you could have it there, you could have it up there, You've got all these options. So we're going to see how, do I want that to go? Right, so the question is, do I want more sky or do I want more loch? I think I want more loch. So I'm going to just gently press that over and then fold it so it's a little bit squinty. Oh, in fact, I got that wrong. When you're lining up this, that is your horizon line. So you want that to be horizontal and the peg to be at the top. So I've just pressed it down, and then you can just smoosh it down a little bit, and that is what it will look like when it's finished. So looking at this, I think there's a little bit too much dead space down the bottom. I think I want a little bit more up the top. So I'm going to redo it. Too much down, but that's okay. When I do the final thing, I will get it exactly where I want it. But what I'm looking for just now, is there any bald patches? So I've got a little bit here where it's a little bit thin and I can see through to the base. So I'm going to fill in that, and when you put it in the frame, sometimes it pulls bits, and I can see a little bit has been pulled there that I need to fill in. But apart from that, we're looking pretty good. What do you think? Oh, there's lots of comments. Hold on. I gotta read the comments and respond to them. Oh, Ruth, it's dinner time. You have to think about these things. Very important things. Oh, thank you. Okay, so it's been 2 seconds since I told myself what I was going to change, and I've forgotten it. No, there was a bit up there that I think needed filled in, and that there needed there. I also want my island to be a little bit smaller. It was a little bit too big. So even at this stage, because we've not completely thoroughly felted it, I can shorten up my island a little bit. So I'm just going to move that up there, put a little bit of blue over there. If only that was that easy in real life. My island's too big. I've got a solution for that. And again, I'm going to do the same to this side. I'm going to, in fact, bloop, it's gone. You can use that in another bit. Just shortening up that island a little bit. Sweet. Okay, well, what are we at for time? That is not a question for you to answer. Oh, we've still got 10 minutes. Plenty of time. We can fiddle for a while. But while I remember, because I am terrible at remembering, we shouted out Sylvia's channel. I haven't shouted out my own one yet. We are now at 2,000 or over 2,000 followers. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. You're all my squishies. If you're not a follower and you have enjoyed the stream so far, and I very much appreciate it if you give me a like and a subscribe. If you want more of the absolute nonsense that goes on a Friday night, normally felting related nonsense, yeah, give us a like. And even after the fact, pop a comment in. I read all your comments and try and respond to them. I really appreciate them. I love seeing what you guys do as well. We have a Facebook group where people post their finished. It doesn't have to be related to what I've done, but any kind of finished felting stuff that you've done, please pop it in the Facebook group. We love seeing it. I'm going to make sure that this line of white goes out past the edge of the mountain. There we go. Oh, I was halfway through saying something. Oh yeah, the Facebook group. And we are on the Instagrams as well. But yeah, please do the like and subscribe thing here. I very much appreciate it. Okay. Yeehaw. Let's stab everywhere. So again, well, now, let's be clear. Very important just now. This is my thinking face. Don't stab myself while I'm doing important talks. What was the important talk I was about to tell you? Oh, yes. How do we know when it's finished? Very important. And as normal, there is no right and wrong answer. It is finished when you are happy with it, which does not help most people. So the way I like to look at it is where is it going to be used? How is it going to be displayed? What's going to happen to it? So if it's getting used in my shop as a display piece, people are going to be touching it all day. I need to make sure it's really thoroughly felted in place. I will go over it on my machine for 5-10 minutes, making sure that none of that's coming out. I even afterwards, I'll take do you guys know that like knitting, in fact it's sitting right here. Oh, creaky chair. One of these bad boys that cleans off bobbles from your knitting, your knitwear. So I take that and go over that. You don't have to. This is just for shop purposes. To clean off any little stray little bitties. To make sure it's really thoroughly felted. It's not going anywhere. People can touch it all day and nothing bad's going to happen. If it's going to be a square picture and you're putting it behind glass, it's felted as soon as you're happy with it. More sort of densely stabbed until... So when you pull it off, like, oh, look at the back now. Look at the back now. How good is that? Do you remember it at the start? So go over it until... So just now, there's still a little bit of give when I'm moving the fabric about. I would want to go over it until there's a little bit less give than this, till it feels nice and secure. So again, like I say, we stop in 5 minutes, stop for the night. Yeah, so no right and wrong answer. And also, I know this is far too late to tell you this, but when you're needle felting, you're going to stab yourself. I'm sorry. You can avoid that by making sure your hand is not anywhere near where you are stabbing. That's the joy of flat needle felting, is that you can have your hand away and you're less likely to stab yourself. When you're doing 3D needle felting, I'm so sorry, but you will be stabbing yourself. I've stabbed myself many times on stream and have not sworn live yet, which I am very proud of myself for. But you can see it's all starting to come together now. From that fluffy mess that we had at the start, that you were looking at going, how on earth is that a thing? Oh, and I should probably tell you, oh my god, how have I forgotten to say this so far? I'm so sorry, Mother. This picture is based on a photo my mum took when she was down in Kinlochleven. So this is a true family picture, which makes me very happy. Maybe I'll give her one and she can put it on her wall. She probably doesn't want it. If you're still listening, Mum, do you want one of these for your wall? Don't know if you've got any of my Wait, have you got any of my pictures on your walls? I don't think so. Oh my, I've got her pictures on my wall. Wait, let me get my anger out while I stab this. Okay. And so stabbing for what have we got? 3 minutes left. Not that we have to finish exactly on time, but you know, dinner is calling my name. I think it might be baked potatoes. There is always a time where you just have to stop. Oh yeah, I will say this. If there are any changes, I need to oil this chair. If there are any changes that I've made that are like vaguely important, on the front of the kit there will be a picture, and that will be sort of my finished picture. So have a look on the front of the kit and see if I've done anything weird. Maybe I put a castle somewhere or something random. Christmas present. Okay, Mum. Christmas present. Done. Okay, let's pop this in the frame. And then I'm going to go and rescue Mum from painting downstairs. Going to go and see if Dad is at home with a dog and my dinner. So I'm going to get the centre. Going to pop that where I want it to go. I'm happy with that layout. I'm going to line it up, and then, so say you've finished, you've come back in 2 days, you're happy with it, it's perfect. What you're going to do now is, yeah, getting sidetracked is perfectly normal. Hello. Yeah, I think that was the only answer Mum could make. Well, no, wait, we're trying to end the stream. We can do this. Right, stay on topic. So, to finish this off, what you're going to do is get it exactly where you want it to go, and then you tighten up this bolt until it is as tight as you can go. This is the same way that you'd finish off, well, to a certain extent, the same way you'd finish off embroidery and things. So say that is as tight, it can't go any tighter. Happy with that, make sure it's all good, lining up properly. Then all you're going to do is turn it over, take your scissors. I'm not going to do it now because this isn't finished, but you're just going to chop away all this excess at the back. So just chop, chop, chop all the way around. Have I got a finished one within? I have. Stay still, don't move. Rolling over. Here's one I made earlier. So this is a different picture, but this is it finished, and you can see the back. I've just chopped it off. Oh, thank you. But thank you for the comments just now. So yeah, I've just chopped off around the outside, and then it's good to go. So for the final end frame, I'm just going to pop this and pretend it's finished. Hide this out of the way, hide you out of the way. Ooh, oh, no, we're not. Pop you in the middle. We have Seagull Island. Slightly wonky, but I like it. Thank you so much for needle felting with me. It has been wonderful. now we've reached the very end of the stream. Only the hardest of hardcore needle felters will still be here. Would you like to see... I think I might start doing this. Would you like to see an embarrassing thing I've done? Because it's the end of the stream. So I did a wee Photoshop practice of this earlier. And I'm gonna show you it because it is hilarious. So this is the guide. How do we feel? I feel... This is my Photoshop rough template. Thank you, my squishies. It is dinner time. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you in 2 weeks.